Can I ask you something? When was the last time you waited for something and it actually hurt? Hurt in waiting. I'm not talking about waiting in traffic. I'm not talking about waiting for a meal. I mean the kind of waiting that costs you something. The kind where you've been praying the same prayer for years. The kind where heaven feels like it's silence. The kind where everyone else's breakthrough seems to arrive while you are still standing in the same place. Well, what if I told you that the Hebrew word for wait doesn't mean sitting still at all? Well, welcome to Remez with me, Pastor Lichai Berkovich. And today we're exploring one of the most misunderstood word in Scripture. And the word that we find throughout the Psalms and throughout the prophets and some of the most beloved promises in the Bible, that word is the word for wait, kava. Kava means to wait, to bind, to twist together, to intertwine. And once you understand what it really means, what waiting, what kava really means, well, Isaiah 40, verse 31 will never sound the same again. Most of us think waiting means doing nothing and just passively sitting quietly and passing time and I guess waiting for that prayer and holding on until something changes or something happens. But the word kava means something entirely different. Its root picture is that of a rope being made, like a tapestry being made, individual strands being twisted together, bound tightly together, woven together under tension, and what beginning as weak fibers on their own becomes something strong enough to carry a weight of some sort. And the word kava literally carries the idea of binding together, the idea of twisting together, of intertwining yourself with something. This is not passive waiting that we are used for. This is active. It's active attachment. And the deeper revelation here, the Remez, is I want you to listen to Isaiah in a different kind of way. I mean, listen again to Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. And the word is kava. A deeper reading might sound something like, well, those who bind themselves to the Lord shall renew their strength. Completely different to this passive kind of understanding of waiting. Not people who merely sit and hope, but people who wrap themselves around God's promise. People who refuse to let go. People who intertwine their lives with His faithfulness, God's faithfulness. And a powerful connection here, and that's the amazing thing about it, is that the people Isaiah was speaking to were in exile. Were not? Were they not? They were in exile. Jerusalem was in ruin. The future looked very hopeless. And for many of them, God's promise seemed completely forgotten. It feels as if God was abandoning them. Yet in the midst of that thinking from them, Isaiah says, those who kava upon Yahweh will renew the strength. Not those whose circumstances have changed, not those who have all the answers, but those who stay attached to God in the silence. Well, there's another layer to all of this, and it gets even deeper as you look at this word. And another layer is the Hebrew word for hope. And the Hebrew word for hope is tikva. Hope, tikva. Expectation or even accord. And it comes from the same root as kava. Kava, tikva. And in Hebrew thinking, hope and waiting are not separate things. Hope is the cord. Waiting is now the act of tying that cord. Hope is not a wishful thinking idea or ideology. Hope is binding your future to God's faithfulness. Think of Rahab's scarlet cord. Think about it. In Joshua chapter 2, she tied a scarlet cord in her window, outside of her window. And that cord wasn't merely a symbol, was it? It was her tikva. She knew that in doing that, it was her hope that she was going to be spared. Her future tied visibly to the promise of God. She didn't know how everything would work out when she met with those spies, but she bound herself to what God had spoken. That's biblical hope. And that's tikva, which comes from the word of our word, which is to wait. Maybe today you've been calling on your season, and maybe you're stuck in that season. Maybe you feel that you've forgotten. Maybe you feel that nothing is happening. But maybe heaven calls it something completely different. Maybe you are not stuck. Maybe you are kava. Maybe you are in the process of binding yourself to God's promise and it looks like nothing is happening. Maybe it is twisting your life around God's faithfulness, learning to trust Him when you can't yet see the outcome. So here's my challenge for myself and for all of us. What promise have you been holding to? What word from God keeps bringing you back? And my challenge is don't let go. Keep returning. Keep binding yourself to His character. Keep hoping. Keep intertwining yourself with His faithfulness. Because biblical waiting is not a weakness. It's one of the strongest acts of faith a human being can perform. To have that tikva, to have that hope. And your waiting has weight. Your hope has a texture. Your kava is seen by God. And maybe today, just maybe today, you were never just waiting. You were being woven into something stronger. There's always more beneath the surface. This is Remez with me, Pastor Lichai Berkovich. May you be blessed, and please, once you like my video, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it at the link below. God bless.